And it looked like ESPN just told the shocking truth as to why Sandy Brondello was let go by the New York Liberty. Guys,
ESPN has revealed the shocking reason for Sandy Brondello's termination. And what fans are hearing is unbelievable. With a title in hand, the Liberty's most successful coach abruptly showed up. We now understand why. The causes are as chaotic as they are crazy. And the WNBA's future is completely altered by this.
The New York Liberty have let go Sandy Brondello. Well, in their terms, they will not renew her contract. In our eyes, they parted ways. She was fired, essentially. But not as bad as being fired, I guess. But that's just how we talk out here. Nonetheless, I'm shocked. She's been a coach there for 4 seasons. You look at the past 3 seasons, she made it to the finals in her 2nd season. She won the finals in her 3rd season, and they lost in round 1 this year. Outside looking in, you look at this franchise and you see that's a successful franchise. New York is a powerhouse in the W right now. So what is the issue? What is the front office looking at? What are the ownership?
ESPN is the one carrying the flame after the headline is dropped. The most successful coach in Liberty history, Sandy Brondello, left the team a year after winning a title. In the belief that it is a typo, fans rub their eyes. This isn't a dream, though. The WNBA is demonstrating how brutal front offices can get when ego and power take over. Let's examine what ESPN disclosed in detail. Because basketball isn't the only topic here. It has to do with pressure, politics, and a team attempting to outshine the league. ESPN claims that this dismissal wasn't a sentimental choice following a poor postseason run. It had been simmering for some time. Yes, exactly. Had she not won the title, Sandy Brondello might have been eliminated the previous year.
Winning the title, what exactly led to the parting of ways between the Liberty and Sandy Brondello here?
Well, Malika, I know you guys talk about this a lot in the NBA and in other sports, but it was really championship or bust for New York and for Sandy Brondello. And in fact, if they hadn't won the championship last year, we might have been having this conversation a year ago, which is maybe a little startling to fans outside, given how, excuse me for those noises, for how impactful she'd been for that franchise. But that is how bullish this organization is in New York and how their ownership and management really are looking to just continue upon that success that they are.
Now, how does that make sense? I'm not sure about you. When you employ a coach, she rebuilds your team, leads you to new heights, wins more games than any other Liberty coach in history, wins you a title, and gives you a pink slip as a thank you gift. It would be equivalent to ordering a steak, eating it thoroughly, and then returning it because the dish wasn't sufficiently hot. It doesn't make any sense, and ESPN essentially validated
to have. And so I think for New York moving forward, I would expect them to really, again, be bullish in who they go after. We know that they are a WNBA franchise that invests a lot in a lot of resources, a lot of financial, capital into these decisions. So I think it wouldn't be shocking, though, if they decide to go after maybe someone in the NBA, someone that we might be a little bit more of a non-traditional hire. I do think Sandy Brondello has a great shot of getting hired again. We know what she has done in this league. We know that there's openings in Seattle, for example, in addition to the 2.
It has been said that the Liberty front office is bullish. In other words, some Wall Street investors believe that sports operate similarly to their stock holdings. Get rid of the asset and purchase a new one if the numbers aren't ideal. The long term doesn't interest them. They are constantly seeking dominance. They will also look for someone they believe can provide it to them on demand if you are unable to do so. The plot takes a crazy turn at this point, though. It wasn't only winning for Brondello. She was doing it while juggling significant problems beyond her control. Injury sustained during the playoffs. Players are not entirely healthy. A roster that was not constructed with optimal depth. Even so, she was able to lead them to the championship game and the finals.
Down with ESPN to give us an update as to why Sandy Brondello will let go. And what's crazy about all of this in this interview that I'm about to show you guys is that Sandy Brondello was supposed to be fired last year, but she actually won the WNBA championship.
Before the playoffs, management essentially made the decision that it was title or else, according to ESPN insider Alexa. That meant Sandy was gone if New York didn't win consecutive titles. Take a moment to process that.
New York Liberty just fired their head coach. People are confused as to why, because they won the championship last year. They made the playoffs this year. In sports, there's always a scapegoat when things aren't going the way that they wanted it to go. Clearly, in New York, the standard has been raised. As Coach Tibbs learned with the New York Knicks, making the playoffs does not guarantee that you are safe anymore. They have raised the standard. They're sending a message to the fans, to the team, saying, we don't want to just go to the playoffs. We need to go to the finals and we need to win. So if it's not the players on the court that are changing, it's got to be the coaching staff. So unfortunately, that did mean Coach Sandy.
Despite the fact that she actually brought them their first championship in the history of the team, she was being evaluated based on her ability to replicate it right away. Failure was the only reasonable conclusion because the bar was set so high. It's nearly humorous. With her resume, other teams are vying for a coach position. 40 playoff championships across several franchises. Renowned for winning over players without becoming authoritarian. However, after reviewing that resume, New York shrugs and says, thanks, but we're searching for someone else. It's like firing a chef for not being attractive enough for the garnish on dish number 6 after he earns you your first Michelin star. And the timing was terrible. ESPN made it apparent that this was not a lengthy farewell or elegant farewell. The Liberty swiftly made the announcement, gave a cliched thanks for your service comment, and then got right into discussing the replacement search. There will be no parade or celebration, just our icy best wishes for her next chapter. Let's now discuss why this affects more than one coach. This reveals the WNBA's peculiar fixation on obtaining NBA-style media attention without possessing the same facilities. The Liberty Act acts as if they were the Lakers sacking a coach for not making 3 consecutive appearances. The bad news is that you're not. You're in a league that is still vying for viewers' attention and attempting to persuade casual fans that celebrities like Caitlin Clark are entertaining. Stability is what you need, not upheaval.
Yeah, you never want to see a player get injured, and a player like Caitlin coming back has had a few injuries this year. She's a great player. It would have been good for our craft to see her, but hopefully they get to see her after a post-All-Star. They get to play again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star. It's going to coach players that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
Let's not overlook the connection between this and Caitlin Clark. Caitlin has already changed the WNBA's power dynamics. She is currently in her second year. The league's face has replaced the rookie hype story. Her actions are exaggerated in every way. Additionally, the old guard feels uneasy when someone like Sandy Brondello commends her or even acknowledges her influence. Wins suddenly become less important than the politics of who takes credit. You see, ESPN alluded to that without really saying it. Some people were offended by Brondello's candor in complimenting Caitlin and admitting her impact on the league. The Liberty wants Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart, their standout players, to be the undisputed representatives of the team and possibly the league. The "We're the center of the universe" slogan that Liberty has been promoting doesn't exactly align with having a coach acknowledge Caitlin's cultural influence. It becomes spicy at this point. Breanna Stewart's contract was limited for a year. She was therefore able to walk. Consider this. The Liberty alienate the star who gave them credibility by firing their championship coach in an attempt to make a bizarre argument. ESPN even hinted that Stewart would leave the company. And if that occurs, New York instantly transforms from a powerhouse to a rebuilding city. They are taking an absurd risk with that. Players from all throughout the league are speaking up in the meantime. What's important is that Becky Hampton stated unequivocally that she didn't appreciate the move. When a highly renowned coach in the choice of the game is yours. Trash without actually saying trash, you should probably reconsider the decisions you have made in life. However, the Liberty aren't paying attention. Pretending to be chess masters when they are really only flipping the board is keeping them too occupied. Then comes the more significant query. Who takes Sandy's place? According to ESPN, the Liberty may even consider seeking NBA support in addition to WNBA support. Indeed, nothing conveys stability more than giving a coach who has never overseen a WNBA locker room a roster full of veterans. Giving someone the keys to a Formula One car after they have only ever driven a go-kart is equivalent to that. Although it's careless, large splash maneuvers are popular in New York. All of this is ironic because Sandy Brondello will almost definitely end up on her feet. Seattle is home too.